In this video, I'm going to take a look at my favourite chess moments of 2020. I will be answering questions that I made up, such as my favourite tactic of the year, my favourite Sicilian defence game, the longest unbeaten streak, my favourite opening novelty, my favourite miniature, biggest celebrity to play chess this year, my favourite matchup, my favourite computer match, my favourite openings video, my favourite King's Indian game, and lastly, my favourite Queen sacrifice of the year. There will be a quiz at the end, so pay attention, enjoy the chess moments of the year. But Queen e7 check. King h6, Rook h4 check. And this is what I mentioned at the start of the video. How do you be a top player? You use geometry. Rook h4 check. This would be checkmate if you couldn't block with the rook. So Wesley has to do that. Now we throw in another check. The following moves are all forced and they lead to a beautiful outcome. Queen f8 check. Queen has to block to g7. If you come out, then it will be checkmate in one. Queen back to f4. Queen g7. Queen f4 check. This would be mate if there was no pawn on g6, so you push g5. And now, your chance to pause the video or let it run. How can white continue with another check? Not trading off rooks, you just lose all your power. So queen d6 check. This would be mate, but black can block. Now's your chance to pause again. Can you find another way to keep checking the king? Not this, because you lose an asset. You go queen f8 check. And this is what I was talking about. Gorgeous geometry. The triangular check structure. The tactics. The triangular checks of tactics. Whatever. Call it whatever you want. It's just gorgeous. Queen f8 check. Here we have it. Gorgeous geometry. I'm highlighting the squares the queen has gone to. e7 to f8, back to f4 to d6, and then back to f8. Amazing. Queen f8 check, you have to block. Queen g7, and now it is a good time to trade rooks, because the king cannot defend the queen and rook at the same time, finishing it off. Rook takes h5 check, game over. Take, queen down. The game is over. Carlsen wins with beautiful, gorgeous geometry. And in his position, rook takes a8 was played, the human move, and then after take, rook h4, planning a kingside attack. But here there was the incredible move, rook ga4. This is the best rook swing I've ever seen, because what is the idea of this move? Well, if we play a move like rook c8, keeping the rooks on, then bishop a5 is the point, to control the a5 square. Now, the queen has to move to e8, and then knight takes d6, forking queen and rook, so take, and the knight is going to fall. After bishop a5, if you block with the knight, you can remove the defender. You can take the knight, and then the bishop is hanging, forking king and rook, and white will be up too much material. The best line in this crazy rook swing variation is to swap off rooks, take, and then bishop takes g5, which Carlsen saw as the best option, giving up a piece, trying to get a few pawns. Bishop takes g5, take, bishop takes d7, queen g1 check, king d2. Really nice, this bishop is protecting knight and rook. Queen takes f2 check, and queen e2 just blocking. Notice it is still possible to lose this position by playing a normal looking move like king c1, because bishop f3 and now the queen has run out of squares on the back. Just goes to show you can lose any position. Bishop f3, and the queen, when it goes up from the back rank, then we can check on the back and then it's mate. So that is a very harsh variation. Now back to reality. After rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, rook h4, planning queen h5. A really cool sequence coming up. The first move makes sense because you just want to trade pieces. So rook e8 check, and believe it or not, Carlsen here played king h7. Amazing. Now what happens if rook takes e8? Well, wait for it. This is an amazing tactic. Check, king h7, and now pause the video. I'll give you 5 seconds. Can you find a brilliant move for white? The move is rook h8 check. Wow. Now the king can't come to g6, guarded by the pawn on f5, so you've got to take it. And now the brilliant move is bishop takes g7 check. Discovery attack from the queen onto the queen. So take, and then you're a queen down for knight bishop. So that's why after rook check, Carlsen had to play a really weird looking move, king h7. Notice this doesn't work anymore because you have your rook to take it. King h7, rook takes rook. A rook up, but it's still a mess. So Carlsen doesn't resign yet. Also, he hasn't been beaten for 125 games. And also, you hate resigning. g4. Svidler took the rook with bishop h4. G takes f5, and now bishop f6. Giri once again mentioned the best move, e6. So we're going to have a look at this now before looking at the game, which is bishop f6. e6 is a top option. So let's take on e6. Let's go bishop h3. And if queen e7, maybe we can play like this. And I've never seen this kind of position before. Now black is getting ready to castle, so we stop that with knight d5, and after take we play bishop h6, and this is just so new to me. It's just so rare to see a position like this where white has two bishops slicing the board and black can't castle. The king is safe. It can just go to f1. This rook can go to c1. This queen, maybe it can go to a4. b3, putting pressure on b7. It can go to d3, maybe slide over. Black might tuck himself safe. Black might keep himself safe on f7. But there's still a lot of compensation. These two rooks aren't really able to get in the game. So that's a really, really cool line. Black wanted to sort out the tension in the center, so he pushed with d4. Pause the video to find a tactic. What did Vishy Anand now play to get a winning position? I'll give you 5 seconds. White now played f5 and the game is almost over. At first the engine doesn't recognize this as a winning option, but as soon as you play it, you can see the bar on the left, Stockfish on chess24, it just shoots up. Very unfortunate to fall for Vishy Anand's preparation. Now after f5, bishop takes c4 was played in the game. After f5, Ian took the bishop. You've got to follow it up with the only winning move, which is e5. You have to move the queen, and then f6. And here, black resigned. You cannot stop queen h6, and it will be mate very soon. If you take the rook, then queen h6, and there's no good move against queen g7 checkmate. After f6, I think the best defense is this, but you go queen h6, rook g8, knight g5, and you are checkmating on h7 instead. Now, time for a quiz. Rook h4 check is the move, and now black has to block with rook h5. Do you remember how white finished this game off? I'll give you 5 seconds. See if you can see all the moves. Now, this quiz is really testing your calculating ability. Can you calculate all the way just like Magnus Carlsen? 5 seconds. The first move is queen f8 check. Now you have to block. Where does the queen now go to give another check? f4, I hope you saw that. Checking, but black can only block with pawn. But now that the 6th rank is cleared, we can throw in another check, queen d6, checking here. The queen blocks, and now because it blocks, we come back in. Wow, queen f8 check. Then the queen comes back, and now the final move. We're going to play this out very soon. Rook takes rook, because after king takes, can you see the final move? Well, the king isn't protecting the queen anymore. Queen takes queen, game over. Let's play it out. I wonder if you saw that entire sequence. Check, block, check, block, check, block, check, and here we have it, this beautiful triangle. Check, got to block, and then we have it. King cannot defend queen and rook. Take, 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 game over. White to move. This is the game Duda against Carlsen. Jan Duda, Polish #1, ended Magnus Carlsen's unbeaten streak of 125 games. Do you remember what White played here? Unleashing a wonderful tactic. So I'll give you 5 seconds. So first, I'm going to show it on the board with arrows, and then we're going to play it. The first move is rook e8 check. Remember, this quiz really tests your calculating ability. If rook takes, then we take with the other rook. The king has to hide, and can you see the next move? How does white finish it off? Well, I hope you saw this brilliant move, rook h8 check. The king can't come out, so it has to take. And then we have this absolutely brilliant move. Bishop takes g7 check. The king has to take, and then the queen attacks the queen. Queen takes queen. Game over. So let's play this sequence out. Rook e8 check. Take. Take. If you saw all of this, well done. King h7 check. Take. Bishop takes g7 check. Take. Queen takes queen. White is winning. This was my favourite miniature of the year. After d4, do you remember what white played? How did white gain a crushing attack against the king? Try to see all the moves, and then we will play it out. Once again, testing your calculating ability. Pause the video now or let it run. First move is f5. But then what happens if the bishop takes the bishop? Now you go e5. The queen moves, and then the queen can sneak in to h6, right? Wrong. You can play f6 first. After f6, the king goes in the corner, then the queen comes in, and if rook g8, then this knight can come in. And now it's not checkmate on g7 anymore, it's checkmate on h7. Let's play that out. f5, take, e5. Queen d7, f6, game over. Because if here, queen h6, rook g8, knight g5, checkmate cannot be stopped on h7. By the way, there was a bonus variation which I forgot to include in the original video. I listened to Anand talking. After e5 there is this one more try from black. You can go queen h6 or f6. Yes, there is one more try. If f6 here, queen e4, threatening queen e3 check. So you just take a move out and go rook e1. And if queen f5, queen h6. And we are mating on g7. And now Mr. B says whoever wins this position gets $10,000. Just kidding. No bets were made in the making of this video. There's some beautiful geometry by Nakamura. Everything defends everything. And you get this with top players. They have this ability to play good moves such that there's beautiful coordination among all their pieces. And you can see that here. Rook protects bishop and pawn, bishop protects pawn, and these two pawns have potential. They have a future. Rook a6, Jimmy offers a trade. There is a brilliant move here by Jimmy, which is bishop b5. And now this is a problem. This rook cannot go to any of these squares because the knight will take it or the bishop will take it. So when Nakamura moves the rook, then a pawn is going to drop. So a big miss by Jimmy. How did Wesley So manage to beat Magnus Carlsen 4 times in 2 days? Pause the video or just let it run. Can you see a winning move for white based on this? You need to stop this queen defending this bishop. Because if it stops defending it, then the rook can pick it up. Can you find a way to attack the black queen? The winning move is bishop a6. For example, if queen d7, then bishop b5. Now you're going to pick up the rook. That's why here Carlsen threw in a check, the king sidesteps, and then queen e8. Carlsen actually deliberately gives up the bishop, but I want to talk about this move. Firstly, I want to look at queen d7 because this queen still protects this bishop. Now, why didn't Carlsen play it? Well, second moment, now's your chance to pause the video or just let it run. Can you find a winning move for white? This is based on the back rank. The king is actually very weak. The rook controls these squares. Is there a way to make this work? It doesn't work at the moment, okay? The rook can go back. The winning move is rook takes bishop. And this is based on a back rank idea, but in a move's time, it's actually based on the fact that the king and queen are lined up in the wrong way. You take the queen can give a check, doesn't matter where. The king has to move, and then now, this is the problem. King, queen, lined up on the same diagonal. White will retreat the bishop, and the queen is lost. There's no point doing this because you will just take it. White's got his knight protecting it. This is what Carlsen missed. That's why after queen c8 he saw it, so he played queen e8, just giving up the bishop. Rook takes bishop, knight e3, and bishop b5. Just taking a move out. I know black is attacking the rook, but you might as well attack the queen first, just for a move. Bishop b5, queen e7, and here Carlsen resigned after playing this move. He realizes he's just a piece down. Rook h5 is a cool move, setting up a threat, because the queen can go to b8 with check. So this is how Wesley So beat Carlsen for the second time in the same day. Very strange. You play h4 and then you castle. So what's the idea? It is all about time. Knight c6. Black is once again attacking white center. Now we have part 2, the middle game. After knight c6, knight b3, defending the center, and Stockfish now goes bishop takes h4, grabbing the pawn, and bishop h6, rook e8, and rook e1. You don't notice it too much when you're down a rook's pawn. Black will need to use time to retreat the bishop. And that's why Leela 0 sacrificed the pawn. Black is going to move the bishop back to e7, but white would have made progress in a different way. How to play like Leela 0 in the opening? Play h4 and then castle. In the middle game, give up at least 2 pawns to gain time. Note, white played h4, but black played bishop takes h4 on move 11, retreating it back to e7 on move 19, costing some time. And make sure you sacrifice your queen for an unusual, almost unfair material imbalance. That is how you play like Leela 0. On the Chess24 database, you can see there are about 7 million games. In this video, we will be looking at Ding Liren's white repertoire. So let's filter him out using the Chess24 database. Let's type in Ding. He has played 1,340 games. Let's look at his white games. 678. And we will look at his games from 2019 up till present day. And here we have it, 137 games. Now I will click on as opening tree, and here we have it. A really good feature on Chess24. Based on Ding's games from 2019 up till present day, you can see 76 d4, and c4 is his second choice with knight f3 and hardly ever playing e4. First thing I want to look at is what is the position Ding Liren has got most of the time. So I'm going to keep clicking the top option because we are looking at his most common position and his score in that type of position. So let's keep clicking. d4, knight f6. We have c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3. So this is Ding's most popular response. And after bishop e7, he has played bishop f4. So he has faced this opening, the queen's gambit declined, bishop f4, 5 times. And if we click database, check out this guy's score. He is +4 against an opponent's average rating, as in a black average rating of everybody above 2700. Pause the video to find a star tactical move. The clue is it's all about the f2 square. I'll give you 5 seconds. The brilliant move is rook e1. Wow. Because queen f2 check is now a threat, a rook sacrifice, if taken, will lead to mate. So that's the first question, just to show you. If rook takes rook, then queen f2 check, queen takes e1, it will be checkmate. So queen takes g3, getting rid of that dangerous pawn, but now queen d4 check, leading to a 1 ending. If you move the king, you lose the rook. So after queen f2, everything comes off. Take, 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 and now you just push. Do not be silly and take the bishop, because then the king is actually in time. c4, king d2, b3, king c3, we're in time. Normally, the queen can go back to d6. I just want to show you one idea. Queen d6 or queen d7, in these type of center counter position, white always has this chance of just throwing the b pawn, and this move is especially effective in blitz games, because no matter how black recaptures with the knight or the queen, you can go rook b1, and it's very interesting. You get some very quick attacking chess. Queen f5, Carlsen is thinking, as he mentioned on the stream, that his king can escape. But Supi just doubles. King c8 played. Pause the video to find the best move. How does white win straight away? I'll give you 5 seconds. Notice the black king has to escape. So if you play check, it does escape. And there's no good move for white. So you need to stop that escape no matter what. So it's okay to give up your queen. After this amazing move queen c6, there is no way through. What a brilliant game by Supi. And after this move, Carlsen was just in shock. He was just saying, wow. Wow. On the Twitch stream. And he just resigned because there's no way out. If you take, you just take. And there's no good move to stop rook a8 mate. Now, time for a quiz. Knight g4 just been played, and let's go with the first move, bishop a6, and now white is completely winning. Check was thrown, king a2 played, and queen d7 here. Do you remember what was wrong with that? It's because of the back rank, so once again, let's calculate it together. Rook takes f5 is the winning move, but what happens if queen takes rook? Well, the queen can check in either direction. The king has to come up, and now do you remember a way to win the queen using this diagonal? It is to bring this bishop back, winning it. So that's a really cool sequence where in this position black cannot defend the bishop. So rook takes f5, let's play it out. Take, check. The king has to move, and then bishop d3, we are good. No point blocking with the rook, you just take. You are going to lose a queen. King g7 has just been played, bishop attacks rook, but this rook is under attack. This is my favorite King's Indian game of the year. Rook f1 was a variation I discussed, guarding the f2 square. Pause the video now or let it run. Can you see why this loses for white? Let's calculate all the way. The brilliant move is rook e1. The reason is you can't take it because queen f2 check, king h1, and then queen takes rook is checkmate on the back. You can just bring the queen back, but you take it. So after rook e1, what is the best move? Rook e1, and now white actually takes this pawn because it's such a thorn in the white position. But how to continue? Did you see it all? The amazing move is queen d4 check. You can't move the king because the rook drops. So you have to block, and then everything comes off. Take, take. Rook takes, king takes, and now, does black take the bishop? No, black just marches this pawn up the board to get a queen. So let's play that out. I wonder if you can see that far. If so, congrats. Rook e1, queen takes g3, queen d4 check. Can't go in the corner, the rook drops, so queen f2. Liquidation, everything comes off. Take, 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 boom. b3, and this bishop. What a shame this pawn is there, but it is. There's no way to stop the queen. Now, the final one. Supi against Carlsen. White played rook a1. Makes sense because you're going to threaten checkmate. But king c8. Now, do you remember the brilliant move Louis Paolo Supi played against Carlsen, causing him to react by saying, wow, wow on stream? What is the brilliant move for white? How can you forget? The most beautiful queen sacrifice of the year 2020, you have to stop the king coming out. And if you stop that happening, then it can be checkmate because there's just too much power on the a-file. So let's just stop it. Queen c6, thank you very much, game over. Take, and there's no good way to stop the rook coming in. You can block, doesn't matter. You can block, it doesn't matter. There's no good way to stop checkmate. That's why, after queen c6, take, Carlsen resigned. I hope you enjoyed this quiz format where you're watching this video. You gotta pay attention because you know I'm gonna ask you a quiz at the end. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel at the same time? Make sure you hit the bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release another video. Thanks a lot, and I will see you in 2021.